All right, question for Coach. We'll start right here, please, in the front.
Jeff Cox with SB Nation. Coach, could you talk about how impressed you are with your team's ability to kind of rebound from the Hockey East quarterfinal series loss?
Yeah, I think we've had a good club from day one, and we don't all of a sudden become a good club because we lose in the quarters. Part of it is you learn from a particular game and you address issues and you try to clean up those issues. It's the same as in football or basketball or whatever, but our club has always been very, very good. I don't know how many wins we have, but it's an excellent hockey team. So it wasn't we had to change anything and all of a sudden switch coaching systems or we had Dave Tippett in from Phoenix Coyotes talk to us a few weeks ago, and he talked about systems. And kids said, well, what are you running for a system at Phoenix? And he said, hey, I don't care what team you go to, Boston Bruins or Phoenix or the Rangers. Everybody's going to have a system, but it depends, and they're all good systems. But it's how well how cohesive you play in that particular system. So we just reemphasize how what we want to play in our D zone and our offensive zone, and the other teams do different things, but they're all good if your kids are very cohesive and buy into it. And we just stressed that all, from it wasn't a loss to Notre Dame that made us a better team. We just kind of, hey, let's get back to our basics. How we break out of the zone, how we go through neutral zones, and but we got good players, and that made the 2 weeks pretty good when you watch our players practice and play hard.
All right, we have a question here, and then right in here. First here.
Heights. Coach, how come you went with McCoshin and Matheson on the last shift rather than Santini and McLeod, who are a little bit more defensive-minded?
Just who's playing well at the time. That's just a on-ice coaching decision. Greg Brown does an awful lot with our defense, and he knows, hey, we're getting into a stopper situation. 2.5 minutes left. We went to 6 forwards and 4 defensemen, and we couldn't get a change at the end. I think it was about a minute and a half when the Riverhawks pressed us, and so those 5 guys stayed on for that time. If we could have got a chip out and a change, we would have done that.
All right, switch to the other mic here, then we'll come back with John in second row here.
Jerry, you talked about that you had a good club from the beginning, and I think that's been pretty obvious. But in seeing the way this team has reacted since the quarterfinals, have you learned a little bit about your team as far as their resiliency and their ability to bounce back from things?
I just it reemphasizes to myself my viewpoint that our players' compete level is very, very high. You can have real good players and not have a compete level that's high. And I really could see how close-knit we were as a team through that. So it just reemphasized, that we have a real good balance of players on our team that fit very well together. But heck, there's not much difference between these teams we play, and so you got to puck luck a little bit, and so we don't do drastically different things than Riverhawks or the Irish or New Hampshire, but we do have a really good team unity within our group of guys. You check your ego at the door when you come to play for us, and our kids buy into that pretty well.
All right, we're going to go John and then right up the row.
Thank you. Jerry, you look over the last 10 years or so, you've almost always had one or more guys in that room who've won a ring. And what does that speak to the continuity and guys knowing what it takes to get there when you have that kind of oral history that's going on every year?
Well, I think that's critical for success. Prior success, pushes you toward more success, especially when you can win trophies. If you're knocking like we were in, when we initially started here, it's a tough sell. But once you start getting some reward for your play, and Brian Johnson came down when the Canadians were in town 2 weeks ago and talked to our club just about that he shared, we won a trophy when I was at BC, and it's a great, great feeling, and I know some of you guys have won it. So it spans some, like you said, some decades. But I think it really helps. I think it's, you got some nervous freshmen, and, they can look at Patrick Brown and some of our leaders. I think probably that's what brought a lot of rings to the Red Sox. You know, they've won a lot. The Patriots, same thing. It's
All right,
hard to get that first one though.
right in front here. Yeah, John, if you just hand in front. There you go.
Jerry, it's been since 2000. Last year you had your 10-hour train ride to Pittsburgh, and
Yeah.
Johnny came up short, but it seems this weekend he put a little exclamation point on maybe why he's a step above all the talent across the country.
Yeah, you know, and we've had some really good players at BC over the years, and he certainly is going to be one of those top players. He seems to have a whole new gear when the game produces a hat or a trophy or whatever, however you want to call it. He kind of rises his game up. You know, he's hard to hit. You know, he's not very big, but he's elusive, and he's really has a good feel for how to play hockey. He had it before he came to me. You know, we've been the benefits of it, and we've given him some good line mates and let him be creative. And it's fun to watch, boy.
We'll go right here and then in the back.
in USCHO. With you
Good to see
being,
you healthy and up. I like that, Dave.
thank you, I appreciate that. With you being the #1 offensive team in the country, Lowell being the #1 defensive team in the country, do you feel that the style of play in this game was more, a 4-3 game was maybe more tuned to your advantage? You were able to kind of force your style of game.
You know, I think sometimes you look at statistics and you can make some descriptions of teams. But, you know, when I look at Lowell, they make good plays. They got some excellent forwards. They produce a lot of offense. And I think with our team, you look at, Gaudreau and Allen Hayes, you think, geez, we're just offense. But we play some pretty good hard-nosed defense. And I think any team that's successful is going to have a blend. Brady comes off the field, so someone's got to come on the field and play defense if they're going to win. Same with us. We have excellent offensive players, but we have a lot of those same players that could play good hard defense. Lowell's the same. You look at Pendenza and Wilson, and I mean they make some really good plays. So I wouldn't say they're just really good defensively. Otherwise, they would not be here.
All right, here.
Attack from the AP. 2 years ago, you called Worcester your second favorite city. Is
Yeah.
it safe to say it's still up there?
Oh, no question. It's been a fun experience for us coming. I think we've been 5 times, and except for that one loss, the Nodaks, we've had really good success in the building. But, rink is a rink is a rink, and the city's a city. So when you get to this point, you got to play good hockey because you're going to play excellent hockey teams. And I think our team played very, very well. And, hey, are we fortunate to come out with a trip to Philadelphia? Absolutely. Easily could have gone the other way tonight.
Okay, right here, Coach, up front.
Evan Spore, SB Nation. Jerry, it's the first game since the game 1 of the hockey's quarterfinals that a player not named Gaudreau or Hayes or Arnold scored. And obviously, you get 6 goals yesterday, so depth maybe isn't really an issue. But when you're getting down to 4 teams left in the country, those top teams that can really key on your top guys, do you think it's important to maybe start to find that secondary scoring from another unit?
Oh, I think for sure. And like I said yesterday, we're not going to tell Johnny's not to score. I mean, we want to score goals, we want to defend, and I don't really think, hey, I wish this kid would score and that kid would not score. We need some goals. But it's good to see balance in your scoring, especially from the offensive, for Ian McCoshen to get a goal. But it's nice to spread it around. But as long as we get one more goal in the opposition, I'm pretty happy with my offense.
All right, one last question for Coach here in the back. Well, we'll have 2 if you guys both have them.
Jerry, you've talked a lot in this conference about sustaining your own success. Well,
Yeah.
we have 2 teams in this regional, in Minnesota State and Lowell, who are, still kind of in the early stages of putting together winning teams. In your experience, what are some of those challenges from one year to the next as new classes come in, new kids come in to try to keep winning?
Well, Riverhawks, they've figured it out pretty much. Frozen Four last year, back-to-back tournament championships. So I can't speak for Minnesota State because I really haven't seen Mike's team play an awful lot these last couple of years. But you're not talking about a team that hasn't made a playoff or hasn't advanced. They've had some pretty good. Lowell's had a lot of success. Keeps their athletic director very happy over there.
Last question here in the back corner.
But excuse me, it is hard to sustain. To come back and we lose a lot of good. But what are we going to do when Gianta leaves? What's going to happen, Coach? You got to keep on replacing those type players. geez, you're losing Atkinson and Motto, so the trick is that we all need good players. So you got to keep on, being active in the recruiting and bring good players in. Your systems, like I said, you can whatever system you have is, which is better. It doesn't really matter as long as they all buy into it and play very well. So, but Lowell's figured it out. Some other teams haven't, but they've figured it out.
You talked about Fitzgerald and McCaution and their goals, but you also had them out there late in the game trying to hold that lead. I think McCaution actually made a play with a stick with about 10 seconds left right in the slot.
Yeah.
Talk about the confidence you have in them to be out there in a big situation like that.
I liked it when we started in September. I thought, we're going to play 3 freshman defensemen, and I think they're capable of playing and playing very well. But as the year's gone on, they're even better than I thought they were going to be at this point. All 3 are still 18 years old, so it's a big jump to play at that age or any age at Hockey East. But I think their future is very bright, upside, and big, thick kids. Santini, McCaution. I think they're going to grow into some really, really good players. And Scotty Savage is just maybe right a notch below, but he's coming pretty hard too. So, but Ian, I'm glad he came from Minnesota out here east. I like that.
All right, thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.